Pranks usually draw many laughs, entertain those who watch, and sometimes even go viral on social media. But things do not always go as planned. Some go completely beyond all limits, putting lives at risk, generating real panic, or resulting in situations that no one expected. It is exactly this that we are going to check out here today. A man appears in a recording inside his vehicle when some people who were on the street play a prank, let us say, quite clueless. In the footage, he drives down a street when some men who were there begin to throw water over the car, which had a sunroof. Because of that, the water starts to invade the interior of the vehicle, and besides wetting the entire inside, ends up wetting the man as well, who gets irritated and gets out of the vehicle to demand an explanation. He becomes extremely irritated by the situation and by the senseless prank of the men, who did not worry about damaging the vehicle or about the consequences that act could bring. It was supposed to be just a prank to post on social media and bet on going viral, but the joke almost turned into a police matter. Digital influencer Jose Edson was recording a simulated theft of a cell phone in the interior of the state of Ceará, Brazil. The objective was to fool the victims and post their reactions on social media. Edson, however, was surprised by the reaction of a police officer who had the stolen cell phone in the prank. The officer quickly subdued the influencer until the person who was filming alerted him that it was a prank. In the recording, we can see the officer's quick reaction, who, armed, subdues the supposed thief and keeps him at gunpoint. Jose Edson stated that, despite the scare, he is fine, and congratulated the officer for his reaction and containment. The officer owns a business in São Benedito, where the influencer was filming the prank. The professional, of course, ended up drawing Jose's attention, warned him about the risks, and let him go. Two friends decided to pull a kind of prank and troll inside an establishment, leaving the victim extremely irritated. To carry out the prank, they chose a random person at the place, in this case a lady, and asked her to choose a number from 1 to 10. She then chose the number 7, and the boy said that she had guessed correctly, therefore she would win a brand new sealed pair of AirPods. For those who do not know, these are the original wireless earphones from the Apple brand, which are quite expensive, by the way. The woman was very happy, took the gift, and continued shopping. The friends waited for the right moment, and as soon as the lady was leaving the store, filmed the alarm going off and showing that she was walking out with a product without paying. It is exactly what you're thinking. They took the AirPods from the store, handed them to the woman as if she had won them, and she walked away with the product, obviously without paying.
Brand new AirPod Pros.
Wow, you're kidding me. Really?
Yeah, you won. Nothing, you won.
They laughed a lot at the situation, and the video ends like that. According to some information, the woman was left without understanding anything. The security guards approached to try to understand what could be happening. After all, the alarm can fail. After explaining what she had won, they managed to discover what had happened. At that moment, the friends were already far away. In a prank produced by a group of friends, a woman with a very striking body wore micro shorts and went for a walk in a park, causing many intrigues. She walked around the park with very short shorts and on purpose headed to places where there were couples. When passing nearby, most of the men could not resist and looked at the woman, which evidently created a great conflict after all. The wife, upon realizing the situation, became deeply irritated and intimidated her husband or boyfriend, who tried to hide it. As we can see, many even got beaten by their partners. The prank, which had precisely that intention, quickly went viral on the internet, generating many laughs. A man decided to pull a prank to post on his YouTube channel, and for that, had a very bad idea. He wore an orange outfit used by prisoners in the United States and began running down an avenue pretending to be a fugitive who had just escaped from prison. He ran down the avenue and approached some vehicles asking for help to get out of there. Obviously, upon realizing that it could be a fugitive, people quickly sped away until a man who was passing by in his car decided to get out and confront him, surrounding him and telling him not to run, while calling the police. The police then quickly arrived and approached the guy. After all the confusion when it was revealed that it was a prank, they tried to explain that it was not true, but even so, the police carried out the approach and handcuffed him. They talked, the man explained himself, got a serious reprimand for what happened, and was released. An Argentine television channel decided to devise a prank on one of the crew members, and the event went viral on the internet. The man had already commented that he was afraid of flying, and to play on the situation, the production had a huge job, because in addition to needing to trick him with a fake trip, they hired actors to fill the seats on the airplane and also simulated a flight with the aid of cranes so that everything looked as real as possible. As soon as the man boarded the plane, the cranes approached, hooked onto the aircraft to simulate takeoff, turbulence, and a possible crash. And that is what happens, leaving him completely terrified.
Calma, calma, calma. Calma, por favor, calma, que todo hay seguridad bloqueado.
When he finds out that it was all just a prank after a long time, he does not believe it and wears that forced smile, typical of someone who is only pretending to have liked it, but in fact is furious inside. A prank almost ended in tragedy when a man pretended to be armed to approach some people on the street. He approaches two men while on a supposed phone call with a fictitious boss and, from that, pretends to be armed to simulate an execution, being, in this way, subdued by one of the victims, in this case, a man who was actually armed. Upon realizing the trap he had walked into, he becomes desperate and apologizes, lying down on the ground.
É brincadeira, é brincadeira. É pegadinha, mãe, é pegadinha. É pegadinha. É pegadinha que o cara filmou ali.
The scene is very tense and he has to beg for his life, explaining that it was only a prank. Fortunately, the victim, whose identity we do not know, decided not to use the weapon, and the prankster, together with the cameraman, managed to leave unharmed. A man, very brave by the way, simply went to a neighborhood considered dangerous to pull a prank. To do the joke, he picked out random people on the street and approached those same people to start staring at them intimidatingly, which obviously is not well seen by anyone. He pulled the prank and most people either walked away or just ignored him. However, he did not expect that a certain man would get furious, try to assault him in any way. In the recording, as we can see, he is seen intimidating several people until he reaches the man who did not accept it, confronted him and lunged at him, forcing him to say it was a prank. In this prank, an actress with a sculptural body pretended to be a restaurant waitress. Wearing an apron in the front, she did not wear anything in the back, being only in her underwear. When approaching couples in the establishment, she caused enormous intrigue among them. Several women became furious upon seeing the underwear-clad waitress and the man averting his gaze. The jealousy was so great that even when the man did not look, the woman thought he did, and thus a great argument would begin. It takes a lot of courage, but comedian Italo Senna approached a group of men who were playing beach tennis on the sand at the beach and caused enormous chaos. Upon approaching, he ends up stating that if he had a shotgun, he would take them all out. After all, that sport would be, according to him, for soft men. Without much attention from the group, he insisted, saying that he would finish them all if he had the equipment, and thus kept provoking the group of friends. With patience exhausted, one of the men charged at him and confronted him. The comedian, trying to flee, needs to clarify that it was a joke, and even so, the man was not pleased at all. The man who charged at him and his wife still stated that he had a lot of courage to pull that kind of prank with so many men together, advising him not to do it again. Twins, Marco and Nico from the Even Out channel have proven themselves prank professionals, especially with those stunts that leave victims in an existential crisis, questioning whether they live in a simulation or are dreaming. Their tricks can be subtle, as in the case where they barely interact with people. A couple was walking down the sidewalk when Marco caught their attention by standing motionless in their path, speaking on the phone. Seconds later, Nico appeared in front of that same couple, wearing the same clothes as his twin brother and saying the same things into his phone. He did virtually nothing, and that was enough to leave the couple thoroughly baffled. In another, more elaborate prank, Marco cut in line at a cafe just to apologize afterward, saying he loses his head when he's hungry. He went back to the end of the line, only to discover that Nico was now standing in front of him. When he turned around to apologize again, just like Marco had, the person behind them yelped in fright. Some say they go a bit too far with these stunts. A South Korean channel staged a simple but meaningful experiment. They placed two students, one young man and one young woman, pretending to be injured in the middle of the street to see how children would react. In both cases, the response was almost immediate. As soon as they sensed something was wrong, the little ones ran to help. They asked if the students were okay, offered to carry their belongings, and even gave advice on how to avoid future falls. Some children suggested sharing their own snacks so the actors could regain strength quickly. Despite slight differences in conversation, like questions about boyfriends or school exams, the sentiment was the same: unconditional solidarity. This experiment restored a bit of faith in humanity for anyone who watched. This prank for good went viral in South Korea, amassing millions of views before reaching Western audiences. In a hidden camera experiment, the situation left many people uncomfortable, even those who watched the posted video afterward. The goal was to test peer pressure. For this, they created a waiting room full of actors who stood up whenever they heard a beep without any explanation. At first, the first unsuspecting victim found it odd, but after seeing others stand twice, by the third beep she stood up too, conforming to the group. The most chilling part was yet to come. The actors began leaving the room one by one until no one remained who knew why everyone had to stand at the sound of a beep. Even when the victim was alone, she woke up with each beep. Then new victims arrived, filling the room with people who were not actors, and they too stood up. According to researcher Jonah Berger from the University of Pennsylvania, this is the result of what they call social learning. From an early age, our brains learn that copying the group is safer. The problem is that this tendency can lead us to repeat mistakes, adopt bad habits, and be manipulated by mass movements. Are we really as independent as we think? That question remains. While watching a tutorial on how to make a ketchup bottle, let's say explosive, a man decided to try it at home and the moment went viral. To play the prank, the man grabbed the ketchup bottle, threw in a kind of leavening agent, shook it, and called his wife over so she could open the bottle, since his hands were full. When she opened it, the pressure caused by the chemical mixture made the sauce literally fly toward her, covering her completely.
Please, I just need help. What do you need help with? Open the ketchup.
After getting sprayed with the sauce, she was all messy and her husband burst into laughter. She was furious, and many online viewers praised the man's nerve for doing that to his own wife. Another viral prank showed a man playing a trick on his girlfriend by adding an extremely hot pepper extract, known as Satan's blood, to her food. After eating it, the woman experienced intense discomfort from the heat of the pepper, resulting in a dramatic reaction with coughing and tears. Satan's blood is a highly concentrated pepper extract with an impressive 800,000 units on the Scoville scale, making it significantly hotter than common sauces like Tabasco. Due to its potency, it is recommended to use it extremely sparingly, usually 1 drop at a time.
I'm all over!
Although popular on social media, this kind of prank raises concerns about the limits of humor and health risks. Adverse reactions to extremely spicy foods can include nausea, vomiting, and, in more serious cases, respiratory complications. Therefore, it is essential to consider the well-being of those involved before carrying out such a joke. A very well-devised prank shows drivers experiencing a happy moment followed by a sad one, which is why it went viral. In the footage, drivers stopped at a traffic light are surprised by a woman who passes by and, showing interest, writes her phone number on the vehicle's windshield with lipstick. The men get excited, since it's a beautiful woman. However, their happiness is short-lived. Shortly after, another man approaches offering windshield cleaning service, splashing water, and completely erasing the number, much to the driver's despair. The drivers, who had hoped to contact the woman, lose the opportunity because of the cleaning, which was obviously part of the prank, making the video extremely popular. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.